Mr. James Flurry is Shreveport City Council President. Mr. James, how are you this morning?
Good morning. Good morning.
Let me start with the headline here. Councilman Flurry targets Shreveport corruption. I saw that. My first thought was, wait a second, who's corrupt? What's corrupt? Is this headline accurate? What exactly is going on?
Well, that's not my headline. My effort is to try to restructure the A&E committee. I've talked to a lot of individuals since we talked about this before, and they just don't feel like they're getting a fair shot. They're spending $2,000 to prepare the packet, and then
tell folks what the A&E committee is, what it does.
The Architect and Engineering Committee is committee. Actually, that committee was started back when Hazel Beard was councilwoman Beard, and she didn't think that she thought that they needed more eyes on those bids, and so she had put together and passed ordinance that set up the A&E committee, and so they look at all the engineering designs on the projects that are bid out, and then they make recommendations. But let me say this up front. I'm not saying that Mayor Tyler has done anything wrong. I'm trying to make it a more transparent committee, and I'm trying to reduce the numbers, make it more efficient. It's outdated, and the mayor makes the final decision.
You have issues with who's on that committee. Tell us who you have the problems with and why.
Well, I have a problem, and I'm not alleging they've done anything illegal. But David Aubrey has served 10 years on that committee, and 9 of those 10 he's been chairman. That just doesn't look right to me, and I don't think that that's the way it should be. And then Linda Bernanke is on there, and she owns a company that does business with the city. And I know those contractors have to look about trying to find people to do that type work, but I'm saying if you're on that committee, you ought to not be able to do any type business with the city, or don't serve on the committee, because it's got to be fair, and it's not.
Mr. James,
so that's what my whole issue is about. We've got to make this fair.
If you have a problem, and correct me if I'm overspeaking, but if you have a problem with Mr. Aubrey and Ms. Bernanke being on the committee, and if the committee is not, to use the word in the headline, corrupt, then you at least think it is inefficient, that it's what is the problem, and how would you fix it other than, or would it be solved by, the removal of these 2 people?
No, I mean, that's the easy thing to cop out on that. But let me tell you, when you look at the A&E committee and you see who's been getting the contracts, and you see how they use this fair share program, they pay people, but yet these people don't do any work. And I'm just saying to you, it's not just them 2. It's too many people on there. It's got the airport director on there. It's got the MPC director on there. It's got water and sewage. It's got the city engineer. The mayor doesn't need all those people. Brian Crawford can look at those bids and those people that are offering their bids. He can look at. He's run the water department.
But what if we have one day have a corrupt CAO?
Well, that's what you have elections for. Elections are for have consequences, and all of that needs to be factored in there. But when you're giving campaign contributions to a mayor, it's wide open. It has to be published. And what we have right now is simply outdated and not working.
So let me see if I got this right, Mr. James. What you're saying is, in your opinion, this A&E committee, Architectural Engineering Committee, at City Hall, so to speak, what you're saying is it's not corrupt, but it doesn't survive the smell test. Am I off the mark?
Well, you're close. You're close. It stinks to high heaven. It sure does. I mean, the corruption part is the fact that you're doing business with the city and you're sitting on the committee. And the people are sitting out there that are bidding the job, certainly they're going to lean toward using your company if you're one of the ones that are making the recommendation to the mayor. But again, the mayor makes the final decision, and I'm saying elections have consequences, and it'll be very wide open whoever she chooses to do work. And this mayor has tried to select a lot of different contractors. She's tried to select people that nearby in Shreveport. But then again, you're right. It could be. But I'm saying I'd rather go that route and get rid of this committee that's not functioning very well.
So are you going to propose an ordinance to make that change, and when?
In January. I want to finish the budget, which is very complicated. We got to finish that, and then once we do that in January, the very first part, I'll be offering legislation to try to get approved by the other council. I'm one of seven, and it has to be. Not everybody may not agree with me, but I'm going to at least give them the opportunity to vote it up or down.
I don't mean to imply that James Flurry might be running for mayor, because you and I have talked about that. You say no way.
No, I'm not running for mayor. I'm running for District E.
Okay. If you were running for mayor, just as a theoretical, would you make this A&E committee a campaign issue?
Probably so, but I'm afraid the two issues are going to be overshadowing is going to be water bills and crime in the city. And I think this won't carry much to the front.